about it. My first time with a nigga, you know that bitch that called me. Your main bitch threw that pussy. You know the boss and called it. Nigga say I sniffed.
Alright, y'all, so I'm basically going to be breaking down 1 year of the McLaren ownership. Now, what I want to tell y'all is it's not as bad as people think it is. People think this car literally is going to blow up, has problems every day. It doesn't. This is actually, I think it's been my most reliable car, believe it or not. And I've had like Hellcats, other cars that people think are reliable, and those cars bring me more problems than this one. Now, I will say though, a problem in this car is going to cost you the Powerball, the jackpot. This problem, I had a problem with my suspension. That alone was like $7,000-8,000. Every oil change is $1,000. Maintenance is ridiculous. So any problem with this car is big, but it barely has problems. Now, some things I will mention that I love about it, and there's way more things I love than I hate. So first of all, the speed, obviously getting used to this car. I honestly I got this car when I was 16 going on 17. Now I'm 18 now. So I discipline myself because I've had fast cars before. I discipline myself, and you know, I'm not a crazy person. You know, I'm not going to take the traction control off. I'm not doing that. I'm not Alex Troy. I'm not going crazy with my car, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what that comes with. 710 horsepower in this light vehicle with no traction control will result in it will have bad results. Now, I will say this is by far the fastest car I've been in. Nothing compares to this. Like, it's just ridiculously fast. It sounds crazy. I also need to get an exhaust on it, but it has been reliable for the most part all the time I've had it. I will say a couple things about it, and I've put 9,000 miles on it. I like the front space. It's basically like you could go shopping for groceries. I dailied this car when I first got it because I didn't have another car, so it was very comfortable. I mean, obviously it's uncomfortable to get out of and in, but as far as like driving it, I never had an issue with it. Everything was comfortable. The car honestly, if you're gonna daily a supercar, it's probably gonna have to be a McLaren. I mean, I've never had any of the other ones. I might soon, maybe a Lambo or something, but I don't know. I've heard that like those cars are a little more uncomfortable. Basically, yeah, I love the front space. The first thing, because honestly, I didn't even know what a 720S was or McLaren's before I got it. But what really hooked me on the car was the looks. Now, this car's look is one of a kind. Like, no, I don't think any car looks like a McLaren. Like, the way the doors go up. I mean, I will say the only thing that might look better is a hypercar or something, but those are like, you know, a hypercar has to look better. You know, those cars are like millions of dollars, but the way the doors go up, the way the arrow, just everything looks in the McLaren, it's like a beautiful car. Like, nothing looks better than it. And that's one thing I do have to say about the McLarens. The looks is always going to be there. The amount of carbon fiber the car has, the active wing in the back. The wing is crazy, y'all. Like, you could probably have a whole meal on there. Like, the wing is ridiculous. And then another thing I'll mention, it has the McLaren has a 360 parking camera on a supercar with sensors and everything, which is crazy to think of. Like, supercars do not have that. So basically, and it has like all those type of cameras to help you out. It doesn't have blindside, obviously, but it's not, no supercar has blindside. Another thing I will say though, storage space is, apart from the front, which is good, is an issue. When I first got this car, don't make fun of me, y'all, I was looking for a glove box. I didn't know no supercars came with glove box, but it does have pockets in each door for a little bit of storage, you know, so you could kind of do something with that. Yeah, no, storage is kind of lackluster as far as the interior goes, but you can't ask for much in a supercar, y'all. If y'all know, there's no storage in these cars. But one thing I will say about this car is the brakes are crazy. Like, going from any other sports car, it doesn't matter if they're on all types of like a Brembos or any types of brake. This car's brakes is different. You have to hit the brake really hard, but it stops like on a dime. But you kind of have to expect that from these cars. It also has 2 calipers on the rear wheel, which I don't know if that's normal. Don't flame me if it is or isn't. But I never knew that until I looked at my car like one day and I was like, yo, I have 2 calipers on the rear wheels. Because another thing about this car is it's only rear wheel drive. So I've always had all wheel drive cars. until recently when I got the Hellcat and stuff, I always had all-wheel drive cars. They were always safer, and because I always had Beamers, and you could always switch them from all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive, and they felt safe. But this car and rear-wheel drive, even when you have traction control fully on, it starts to slip out and it gets scary. So let alone you taking the traction control off. Now, all right, y'all, this is one of the little annoying things that happens on the McLaren. So basically, my Bluetooth just stopped working on my phone. It was still connected. And now for my Bluetooth to work again, I gotta turn the car off, leave it off for a little bit, come back in it, turn it back on, and then it'll work. The car has to reset itself. And that happens with multiple things, such as the AC. Sometimes, you know what it is to hop in a McLaren and the AC won't work? Believe it, y'all. Y'all better believe it. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I'll have to stop somewhere, lock it for like 5 minutes, or not even, or just let it reset itself, then hop back in the car, and then everything will work. So those are like little gimmicks and annoying things. They don't happen that often though, so I can't really complain that much, but it's definitely annoying. Another thing about the car is, y'all, so basically, if y'all don't know, it's powered by a 4-liter twin turbo V8. It makes 710 horsepower, which it should make 720, but you know what I'm saying, I ain't even go argue with McLaren about that. But that doesn't scream out fast to you. I mean, obviously it probably does. That's a lot of horsepower, but it's not like a lot of cars these days aren't having that amount of horsepower. But the thing is, with the McLaren, it's on like a carbon, everything is like forged carbon. Everything around me is carbon, even the car. So like the car is made out of like it's made in a carbon frame, I'm pretty sure. So from everything being carbon, the car is super light. I don't know how much the curb weight is on it. I'm gonna probably put it right here in the video. If once I find it, I'm gonna search it up for y'all. But it's lighter than any car. It's like a piece of paper. So that's another thing. Like, you really got to be careful with driving this car, because it could slip on you and you could lose control at any time. And that's the thing about these McLarens, y'all. These supercars, they're crazy. That's why when people put like twin turbo kits on like other like, for example, Huracans and stuff, like, you gotta be like, you gotta really know what you're doing, because it's very dangerous to drive these cars. Now, one thing I will say about this one is this is not the Spider. So one thing that is really cool about this, because even though it doesn't have the fully convertible roof, it has glass over my head. It has glass on the roof. So one thing I will say about that is cool, because like at night the lights go over you, the sun be hitting sometimes though. That's one flaw about that, but for the most part it's good. Another thing I will say that's kind of annoying is, I guess since these cars are low or something, like they tend to, like, the roof panels like crack, the windshield cracks easily. I've had to replace my windshield, and then the front panels on top of me, like the glass on top of me, cracked too. So yeah, nah, this car, and if anything cracks, y'all, they gonna try to finesse you and tell you, yo, this is like 20,000. Everything is like, yo, everything is ridiculous, like, you know what I'm saying? But my favorite thing though, that, because this car came with everything it has, so, but everything it has been put on. Nothing, like, a lot of the things on this car didn't come regular. Now, one thing I do love about the car is the HRE rims that it came with. Those rims are beautiful. Like, I don't know how much the set was for the previous person. I'm assuming it's around 10-15,000. So they obviously probably paid a pretty penny. But it has a roof scoop, and all the carbon it has, all the carbon the 720S comes with is what makes it a 720S. Like, unless you got the luxury edition, there's different versions of the car. But the performance, I have the performance version. The carbon is ridiculous. And this car just puts your heart like in your stomach. Like, you can't, like, the speed on it is ridiculous. And as far as me owning it for a whole year, I've only had to replace the dampers on my suspension, and that's pretty much been it. Everything else has been regular service, regular things. Little gimmicky stuff will pop up sometimes and say that it's messed up, but it's not, because when you turn the car off and back on, the messages go away. And everything's been pretty smooth sailing for the year I've had it, because I know a lot of people tend to think that McLarens come with unreliability, and I think that's false. because I've owned one, and I can tell you guys, at least in my experience, I mean, I also got the car with 1,000 miles, so I don't know if you get it with more. I've also, I mean, I'm at 10,000 right now, so everything's been pretty smooth sailing. But yeah, this car, you could go get groceries in it, you could go do everything in this car. The speaker, you get Bowers and Wilkins speaker on a supercar. The speakers are great. Everything about this car is just great. Another thing I will say is, y'all, this car does bring a lot of attention. So obviously, you know, it comes with having a McLaren, but just to put that out there, everybody will look at you, which is usually all love, is usually good, you know, because that's what you got the car for. Honest, I mean, you don't get it for attention, but you know what comes with it. So I'm not gonna sit here and act stupid and be like, oh, I got a McLaren and I didn't know it was gonna come with attention. Now, it does come with a couple things, because a lot of people could be looking at you in the wrong ways and for the wrong reasons. So you got to be careful. You got to be extra careful with this car in that regard too, because you never know what someone may be looking at your car for, you know. So people will try to come up to your window, people will try to ask you questions, you know, the typical, all the, you know, nice car and all that, what do you do for a living, whoop whoop whoop. Everybody's gonna ask you the same questions now, but I'm pretty sure every supercar owner goes through that. So it's not really an issue, you know. Just got to be careful around, you know, some people. But that's one thing that definitely comes with having a McLaren. Another thing I will say is, you got to be okay with being uncomfortable in these supercars. It's not going to be your SUV. It's not going to be your family car, you know. I will say leg space is pretty comfortable, but other than that, sometimes my back get to hurting. I don't got the seats that come in the Senna and all of those though, because those could come in these, but I wasn't gonna get those seats. Those seats are crazy. I'm gonna put those right here. Yo, those seats are like wicked. I sat in them one time. I don't know how people could live with those on the day-to-day. I haven't took this car to the track, so I can't tell you guys what that's like. I will do that soon. That will be a video. But yeah, I mean, other than all those little things that, like, you know, obviously it's gonna come with pros and cons. The car has way more pros than cons, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd definitely get a McLaren, because I can't sit here and say I've had a lot of issues with it. Who knows if I would have got a Lambo or the other options that I was thinking about, I would have had a lot of problems. So another big problem with this car, y'all, is gas mileage. Oh, you own a McLaren, why are you worried about gas mileage? Just letting y'all know, man, gas mileage is an issue. On my screen right now, I'm getting 8 miles per gallon. 8 miles per gallon. And I don't even be driving in track mode and sport mode like that. I be in comfort mode most of the time. But yeah, you're gonna live at the gas station every other day. Can't really, you know, and the tank isn't that big on these cars, so it'll usually run out in like a day or something. So that's another big issue, is gas mileage. But obviously that comes with having these cars and stuff like that. Another thing I will say I really don't like, but it doesn't really matter that much, but you know, you would always like to see what your engine bay looks like. You only get like a little grill, like a little insert that you could kind of see in through, and it has like a little red LED that turns on, but you can't really access the engine. You have to you got to unscrew a lot of bolts and do a lot of things, which on other supercars it's not like that. Like on the Lambos and stuff, you can see the engine better, so it's a little different. But that kind of sucks. You can't really see your engine, you know what I'm saying? You paid all of this money for the car and you can't really see it. But it's not a big deal breaker, you know. It would just be cool to see the engine. Now, another thing I will say is the car sounds amazing stock. Obviously, you're not gonna get a NA sound because the car is twin turbo, so it's not gonna be like a Huracan or an 812, or it's not gonna sound that crazy. So, you know, it's not it. But I will say it does sound great for what it is. You know what I'm saying? It does pop from time to time once the engine is warmed up and it's in sport mode, and it it holds its own, y'all, and it's faster than every competitor. So it's like you can't really have an issue with it or say much about it. The 720S is a great bang for your buck car, and it's definitely a great first supercar for anybody that wants to get into them. I definitely recommend the 720. It's not as bad as, you know, people make it out to be something that it's not, at least in my case. And, you know, I would definitely recommend it for anybody that is thinking about it. If you're thinking about getting that 720S, y'all go get it. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong with it. You gotta live with some of the problems with it. I will say though, daily in this car and having it be your only car is not a good idea. You definitely should have another car, because if anything on this car goes wrong or something like that, you will need to be able to drive another car. And this car, after a couple days, will get uncomfortable. Your back will start to hurt, because I'm only 18, and sometimes I'll drive in here for a little bit and my back will hurt. So that'll let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Most of the owners in this car, I might be one of the youngest McLaren owners in the world, to be honest, now that I think about it like that. Because, you know, most people that own these cars, people probably expect like a middle-aged person to walk out of this car, and then they probably see me it's probably crazy to them. So, you know, this, just owning it has been a crazy experience, especially at the age that I did. You know, just living through it, going to high school every day back then, and having all the kids react to it. That was all cool and stuff, because, you know, you get love and stuff in high school. Because think about pulling up to high school in a 720S, y'all. Like, it's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? That whole experience was crazy. I feel like nostalgia and stuff. I don't know if I even pronounced it right, but I feel like I'm in unk status now, because I can't even, you know, I'm done with all of that school stuff, and now I'm just thinking about it in the past. But yeah, that was always cool. And people's reactions, I love seeing people's reactions. You know, people love cars. There's actual car enthusiasts, actual car lovers that do appreciate this car, and that's a big thing for me, because the people that actually know and appreciate cars will take their time out to look at yours. I always see people taking pictures in front of my car, like taking videos of it. I've seen people have whole photo shoots. I'm like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? You would think it's theirs, but, you know, that stuff is kind of all funny and stuff like that. But that's kind of what comes with it. But yeah, basically those are kind of like a few of the things that I had to point out for y'all. If I missed anything, y'all comment down below what y'all think I missed, and comment down below what y'all think about this video. If y'all want more videos like this, let me know, man, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
You bought it this big.
Pull off in that cool. Nigga think I hit the booze, I'm headed to the booth. Getting loot, that's what I do. Might slide up on your bitch. Tell you I'm a smooth dude. These niggas telling lies, but baby, you know I'm the truth. Can't wait till I